Do is come down to your yoga mat, and if you're somebody with limited range of motion, grab a couple yoga blocks. These are very, very helpful. These will help you raise the ground up. So from a standing position, you're going to just hinge from the hip creases, bend your knees, let your hands come down to the floor, use your yoga blocks. They can be really tall, they can be medium tall, and they can be all the way short, or they can be non-existent. What you want though is for your feet to be flat on the floor and your hands to be flat on the floor. Think of your hands and your feet like juicy animal claws, kind of pedal everything out, get into a comfy position. Your feet can be as close to your hands as you want them to be, as far away as you want them to be. You just have to have everything flat on the floor. Once you've decided where your paws are going to be, kind of grip them and let them be nice and juicy, gripping the ground like animal claws would. Put your shoulder blades on your back and let your belly button and your hip crease kind of float up into your spine. Press down into the earth with your hands. And then at any point when you need a break, just press into the ground with your feet. Use your back legs to pull towards the ground to hoist your body up to upright. So you can do that anytime you need a break, or you can just keep following along with me, okay? Come back down to the floor, hinge at the hip creases, float the belly button up into the spine, bend the knees as much as you need. Bring your paws down to the earth and just start to walk like an animal. Just a little bit of pawing at the ground. Once you find a nice, comfortable position, let your claws, your animal paws, distribute the weight evenly between all 4 points. And then when you're ready, drop your head a little bit and look between your legs. Even out your weight a little bit more on your feet so that you're not just in your toes or your heels. Drop the head and let your nose and your eyes point directly at the wall behind you. And then carve a line with your nose straight along the ground towards the horizon. Pretty soon your butt is going to naturally drop. Keep the weight distributed evenly in your feet as your eyes try to find the horizon in front of you, but only go as far as you can or want to. And then when you're ready, draw a line with your nose again. Press into the ground with all 4 paws. Drop your head. Tuck your chin a little bit and look straight at the wall behind you between your legs. Distribute your weight again between all 4 paws, and then just keep going, drawing a line with your nose. Float your belly button up into your spine. Your butt is going to drop naturally as your head lifts as far as you want to go. Keep your hands and feet flat on the ground, and then come back. Drawing a line with your nose, press into the ground with your animal claws. Let your knees get a little floaty. Let your hip creases float up into your belly button, and look behind you straight with your nose and eyes. And then if you want to, press into the ground with your feet claws as your sit bones kind of pull down, your spine can roll up. And if that felt great to do, then move on to the second part. If that was really difficult, just keep working with that until that gets easy. When you're ready to move on to the next part, come back down to your animal claws. Start to paw at the ground, get a nice, comfortable position for your hands and your feet. Distribute the weight evenly from fingertips to heels of your palm, from toes to the fullness of your heel. Press into the ground a little bit, belly button to the spine, hip creases to the spine. Float the tailbone and sit bone up towards the ceiling. And then when you're ready, you're going to press into the floor with your left palm and both feet, and your right hand is going to get light. And then it's as if somebody's pulling your shoulder blade straight up towards the sky as your left hand and both feet, even your heels, are pushing into the earth. And your arm, your right arm, is just kind of dangling like a rope. Press down with your left hand and both feet as your shoulder blade lifts up towards the ceiling. And then slowly lower down, placing the hand back down on the ground, very slowly and lightly and gently. And then just keep doing that over and over. Press down into the ground with the left hand and both feet, like juicy animal claws, belly button to spine, hip creases up into the spine, tailbone floating towards the ceiling, shoulder blade being lifted up towards the ceiling as your arm dangles like a rope. Slowly lower it back down. Maybe do one more. Distribute your weight evenly between your left hand and your 2 feet. Press down into the ground, belly button to the spine, hip creases, press the sit bones up. Shoulder blade gets pulled up towards the ceiling as your left hand and your 2 feet press down into the floor. Slowly lower that palm down. If you need a break, go ahead and stand up, pause the video, and then come back when you're ready, or just go ahead and go into the left arm. Press the right hand down, both feet down, hoist the butt up a little bit more, belly button to the spine. Now the left shoulder blade is being pulled straight off of your spine up towards the ceiling as the right hand and both feet press down into the ground. Belly button to the spine, float the sit bones towards the ceiling. Let the head be comfortable, and then slowly lower your left hand back down. 2 more times. Press down with the right hand, both feet, belly button to spine. Shoulder blade gets lifted off of your back as your feet and your hand pressed into the earth. Slowly lower back down. 1 more time if you got it in you. Press down with your right hand and both feet. If you're all in your toes, then you're really putting too much work in your legs. So make sure you're in your whole foot, not just your toes, not just your heels. Also use your right hand. Pull your shoulder blade off of your back towards the ceiling. Slowly lower the left hand back down. Okay, let's take a quick break. Press into the floor with all of your feet. Aim your sit bones down. Ragdoll your spine up to standing. Okay, and decide if you want to go to the next step or if you want to keep working on the first 2. This next part, feel free to walk it out. And this next part, come back down to the bear walk. So just bend the knees, grip the ground with your juicy animal claws, walk in place like a bear for just a little bit, wag the head, distribute your weight evenly between all 4 points. And then when you're ready, you're going to do the same thing but with your feet. So press both hands into the ground, the left foot into the ground, wait for the right foot to get light, belly button and hip creases up into the spine, and it's as if somebody is lifting just your hip, like they've kind of got you hooked on your hip crease and is pulling your hip crease up towards the ceiling. Press down into the ground with your hands and your left foot as the right foot just kind of gets hoisted off of the floor. Doesn't have to be much, just the flat foot has to leave the floor. Somebody's pulling your right hip crease up as your left foot and your 2 hands are being pushed into the floor. This one's a little bit more challenging. Just do several on one side and then switch to the other. Okay? Roll your shoulder blades down your back. Distribute your weight evenly into the hands and the left foot. Get a hook, an imaginary hook on your left hip crease, and then pull that hip crease towards the ceiling as the hands and the right foot press into the ground. Hoist up the foot. I'm starting to huff and puff. Dangle the head if that feels good to do. Just make sure you're using all your fingertips. Your whole flat foot, not just your big toe side, is pressing into the ground. And then rest when you're ready. And then roll up to standing or sit down. And breathe. And wiggle it out. Okay. Moving on to the next part. Again, feel free to just work on those 3. When you're ready, come back down to the ground in your bear claw position. It's a really good workout. It really gets your heart rate up. It's kind of cool that way. All right, distribute your weight into your hands and your feet. Nice, intelligent bear claws. Get that feeling of having 4 legs. Put your shoulder blades on your back in a way that makes your neck feel open. And then when you're ready, you're going to get your weight distributed between your left palm and your 2 feet. And then use your right hand, keep it flat on the ground, but kind of pretend like you're either washing or painting your mat on the right, all around your right foot. So keeping your hand as flat to the ground as you can as you get around your foot and over to the side. Now, if you are using a yoga block, you can use the yoga block to do this. And just kind of use the yoga block like it's a paintbrush or a sponge or whatever. Otherwise, just use your flat hand and try to get all the way behind, bending your knees as much as you need to keep your hand flat as you paint the ground. Okay, distribute your weight evenly. When you're ready to go to the next side, roll your shoulder blades to open up your neck. Press the weight of your body into the right hand and both feet, not just the toes, not just the heel, and then paint the ground. Belly button to the spine, hip creases float up, kind of push the ground in a way that helps you reach. Push the ground with your feet and your hands, connect to the ground so that you are using your body strategically to move that hand around. Now this is going to really make your thighs burn. And then when you're ready, rest. And then use your feet, plant into the ground, pull down with your sit bones, ragdoll up to a standing position. Whew. Send some gratitude to your burning thighs. Moving on to the next level. This is going to get increasingly challenging as we go. All right, come back down to the bear claws. So however you want to get there. Belly button to the spine to support your low back. Hip creases float up. Sit bones float up. Get a nice, comfortable weight between all 4 points. Not one part of your body is doing more work than the other. Belly button to the spine. Hands and feet are juicy, intelligent animal claws. And then when you're ready, you're going to push down with your right hand and right foot. Left hand and left foot are going to lift up and go back down. So shoulder blade and hip crease are being pulled up towards the ceiling and being placed back down. Just do this a couple times and then switch to the other side. Belly button to the spine, distribute your weight over to the right. Shoulder blade and hip crease get hoisted towards the ceiling as your left side presses straight down. So I don't want you to have to turn. Keep everything kind of facing straight down. Your hand is like a rope and your foot is kind of like a stomp. Don't know if that makes sense. Check in with your left foot and make sure you're not using just your big toe. Make sure you're using your pinky toe edge too. Okay, once you have a little coordination on that side, then you're going to walk. So press down with the left hand, left foot. Lift the right hand, right foot, and step. And then press the right side down as the left side steps forward. In unison, like you're moving like an animal. Belly button to the spine, hip creases float up, sit bones look at the ceiling, and just walk until you reach the edge of your available space or mat. And then switch directions and move backward, pushing the ground away to let your body move. On the left side, you're pressing the ground away to allow your right side to move. So the feet pressing into the ground is doing more of the work. The other side is just moving. All right. Feel free to take a break. I'm going to go right into it. Into the next step, lift your belly button up into your spine, plant your juicy, intelligent animal claws into the floor. And then when you're ready, you're going to walk opposite sides. So just as practice, first, lift your right hand and left foot as your left hand and your right foot press into the earth. And do a cross body. That is going to feel really interesting. And then switch to the other side. Right hand and left foot press down as right foot and left hand lift towards the ceiling. Remember to use your whole foot, not just your toes, your whole hand, not just your thumb. Keep your shoulder blades on your back so your neck feels open. And once you've done that a couple times, give a little distance between your feet and hands, and then press down with your right hand and left foot, and then move your right hand and your left foot. Press down with your left hand and right foot, move with your right hand and left foot. And just keep going, belly button to your spine, keep breathing. Open your eyes wide, notice the ground, look at where you're going. Even if You don't have your glasses on, that's okay. Just don't narrow your vision. Let your eyes help you. Let your feet and hands help you move backwards as soon as you reach the end of your space. And then when you're ready, press into the ground with your feet. Use your sit bones. Pull your body up to upright for a quick, well-deserved break. I'm gonna get me a sip of water. So if you've come this far with me, good job. We've just got one last thing to do. I might have to edit that part out. We'll see. Okay. Come back down to your bear claw position. Easy does it. You're going to be a little tired. Feel free to take breaks on your way down as you go. Plant your feet. Find your juicy animal claws, your intelligent animal feet. You're going to be moving. It should feel a little bit more natural by now. And then when you're ready, and I'm actually going to kind of turn diagonal for you to see this a little better. So maybe watch me first before you do this. So you're in your nice, cool animal claw stance. You're going to put a little distance, a little more distance between your hands and feet. And then you're going to press down with your right and left palm and your left foot. You're going to pick up your right foot and you're going to sneak it in between your left palm and foot and kiss the ground with your butt. And the point of this is to not let your back heel leave the ground. It always takes me one try, at least, to do this. So once you're down here, your hands are going to press into the earth, kind of like a push-up. Your foot's going to press into the earth, your left foot, as you lift your right foot back underneath you. Even out your feet and your hands. Get all the weight distributed between your hands and your right foot. Press into the ground, press the ground away, belly button to the spine. Thread the needle of your left leg between your hands. Keep your foot on the ground flat. You can move your foot can twist around, but the heel just can't leave the ground. And then once you're here, press into the ground, especially with your foot, both hands. Lift your left hip back up, sneak your foot right underneath you again, even out your stance, and then just go back and forth, side to side. So I'm just gonna keep doing this and kind of explaining. Belly button to the spine, distribute your weight between your hands and your left foot. Sneak your right hip in between your left hand and foot. Kiss the ground with your hip and then hoist your body back up. So the second your hip touches the ground, just kiss it and then push it back up and just go back and forth as slow as you need to. Distribute your weight between the 3 points. Belly button to the spine, kind of keep that hip crease active. Rotate your foot in the back, keep it flat to the floor, kiss the ground with your hip, and then bring it back to where you were, side to side. I'm gonna do one more. Distribute your weight evenly between your hands and your right foot. Hoist the left hip crease, and then sneak it between your right hand and right foot. Keep that heel on the ground. And then when you're ready, use your sit bones, use your feet to roll up to upright. Okay, so there you go.